Hello everyone and welcome to Basic Fingerloop Braiding class. My name is Mistress Leigh Whyte. I am a scribe of the East Kingdom and hobbyist in the art of fingerloop braiding. Today we're going to cover the basic 5-loop braid, which I believe is called a broad lace. This is a very simple braid that I used for making the just simple cords that have a little stripe down the middle or little chevrons. And you can use this for just about anything from medallion cord to cords for seal making. And by seal making, I mean basically the art of a wax seal and with a suspended pendant upon it. So today I am using black silk and white silk to help you differentiate between which fingers I'm going to be using. You see that I have a clamp at the top of my desk. Now, the clamp is there to keep it stabilized. I'm going to remove this just a little bit really quick to show you here. For 5 loops, you're going to be using 5 different fingers. And what I've done here is a simple overhand knot. And you can see that these loops are not broken. They are just wound up on themselves and tied in an overhand knot at the top. So you get a grand total of 5 strands, equal length, and you trim them at one end with your embroidery scissors. Make sure they're nice and sharp. Okay. And once you have them looped up, you're going to pair them off to themselves. So here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to clamp this down nice and tight. You can use, if you don't have a clamp, what you can do is take a piece of separate string and tie this entire rig to the back of a chair or something nice and stable. You're going to take that as your stable point to help you keep tension on the lines. So right now what I'm doing is I'm pairing up 1 loop per finger. And I'm not really minding too much that the base of this is not going to be 100% flush. So all I want to do right now is just take them and move them onto individual fingers. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I'm going to put one color on one side, one color on the other. Now, you can see here, let's try this. I'll flip around so you can see it a little easier going down the line, and also flip it over again here. Okay. Alright, so you see that I have 2 fingers at the top, 3 fingers at the top. This leaves pinky over here, thumb over here open, 2 fingers over here, and again, thumb open. I'm going to do what's called walking. Now I've now walked both loops down the line. Just to show you that again, you take your next finger down, you stick it through, and that walks it down. Push through, and let go. Okay? Now, taking the pointer finger on your left, and you can do the same move on your right hand. This is equilateral. Take your pointer, slide it through, and now you're opening up these 2 loops. Okay? You're going to take your thumb and pull through from the bottom of that loop. Did you see what I did there? Okay, you pull it through and you hook onto that finger. And now I'm going to do the same thing as what I just did on the other hand. I've walked down the 2 lines, take my pointer finger to open up the 2 lines, take my thumb and take my pointer finger underneath and grab, and there we have another loop. Now you can see that the colors are changing, and we're going to go again down 2, open up, take your finger, take the bottom loop through. Now, the reason why I am widening this up is so that it starts to push the knot down. Okay, I'm going to walk again. Point your finger through. See how my hand is positioned there? Okay, pulling from the bottom of this bottom loop and pulling it to the top of this hand. Always working from bottom to top. Okay. So now we go again. Walk down, open, pull through. Now the loop that was on the bottom finger is now on the top of this hand. Okay. And I'm going to work a little faster here so we can try to at least get the pattern going. This braid will go relatively quickly. For those of you who are in the SCA like me, you will notice that this is a simple braid that you can probably do while you're sitting there in court. And it keeps your hands nice and busy. Okay, let's see how that pattern's coming out. Okay, so you can kind of start seeing going there. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of the ones where it stripes out, but let's try it. And again, working bottom to top. Okay, so you can kind of see this is actually working more like a chevron. Okay, and again, a little close up right there. You can see how it's switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which is kind of neat. As far as how long these braids take to make, it depends on how long you make your string. This is silk cord made by White Wolf and Phoenix. Hi guys. And you don't necessarily have to get your cord at White Wolf and Phoenix, but I like them. They are good people. And you don't necessarily have to make it with silk. You can use cotton, you can use nylon, whatever you like. The only difference here is obviously the silk cord costs differently. Depends on your materials. Silk is a little more period to use. And it's also a lot more durable. It's just personal preference for me on that. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer, and we're going to take a break in a moment. I will say while you're doing this, please be mindful of the tension that you put on your fingers. You can see in front of me here, I have a fair amount of tension on these two fingers based on that little dent there and there. When you're working fast, be mindful of this, because when you cut in like that, you're also creating friction on that spot. You will get blisters. Be very careful. If you want to, you can always use gloves or something else to help reduce friction. I personally have not used gloves. I am just trying to work carefully so that I don't give myself blisters and have to take a break for longer than needed to make another cord. Okay, so you can kind of see right there that it's switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now as the cord starts marching closer and closer to you, it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. You can probably fix that by trying to apply the same pressure throughout. As far as putting your work down while you are actually in need of taking a break, that's one of the things that you may want to do once in a while, is actually get up and move around or go to the bathroom or something silly like that. There's a couple things that you can do to keep your work going. One of my friends basically takes a safety pin, and instead of having the clamp up here, she safety pins it to her pant leg or to her shoe, and that way she can walk around, but then she kind of looks a little bit like a puppet master when she walks. You got all these strings hanging from you. Or you can basically do what I've seen done on the internet. Get a couple of combs, loop the loops over the ends of the comb on one end and on the other end, and you label them A, B, C, D for each finger, you know, left hand, right hand. Get a rubber band around those with a piece of paper. Basically put the piece of paper on top, rubber band that, and that way it's more or less protecting the loops from flying free and mucking up. But if you're working at a length that is comfortable to you and you don't think you have to put it down, so much the better. You can actually get a pretty good cardio workout depending on how quickly you're moving, because your arms are going like this and this and this to keep the tension all going. So I am only really going to go a little bit further into this because I really only want to make this a short video so you can see how it started. At the end of this, once you start running out of space with your fingers here, you're going to take them all. You get to the point where you have no string left to use, or at least it's getting really, really hard to tie it all together. You're just going to do another overhand knot at the end, knot it up, and then take your embroidery scissors and snip off the loop part, and you can trim it off nice and neat so that way you have a nice tassel at the very end. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am still very much a beginner at this myself, but I thought that you might possibly want to use this material for yourself in case you were just beginning on learning how to do finger loop braid, or if you have a cord that's due for a nice pretty seal on a scroll at some point in an upcoming court. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and please, as I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.